All right, guys, it's that time of the month when, without any warning, really, things change very quickly, and no matter what you do or say, you're probably gonna end up paying for it. Of course, I am talking about yet another Tesla price change, which happened yesterday and kind of also a little bit today. And mainly things have gone up, but some things, well, one thing have gone down, and it's a Tesla Model 3 that's gone down. I'll tell you about that coming up next, which is kind of right now. Period. Taking over the world, electrifying the world, E4 Electric. Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. If this is your first time here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so you don't miss anything moving forward. All right, so let's talk about, there's at least 5 things that have changed in pricing and some of the features. And by the way, just in case if you're wondering about the thumbnail, the before and after, the car looks the same. It's the piggy bank right there. Depending on which option you're gonna go with, it's either a little bit fuller or a little bit emptier. That's all. Classic humor. That's all. All right. So let's talk about what has actually changed. And okay, so let's start with the good news, of course, and it is Tesla Model 3 that's actually gone down in price by $1,000. As you know, the official version, the cheapest version of the Model 3 was about $40,000. Now it's about $39,000. That's not a very uncommon for Tesla to lower the price, but don't forget that the actual cheapest version, the $35,000 version, is still $35,400. Tesla kind of had to confirm that, but obviously that is still true. And of course, the one that we're talking about right here has the 2000 autopilot option, which is optional off the menu. So that's good news. But everything else is something where people will end up spending a little bit more money on. And let's talk about the Tesla Model S and Model X. So basically, once again, they removed the base standard, if you will, version of those cars, and therefore the entry level pricing has gone up. Now the Model S entry price is $80,000, and the Model X is $85,000. Now, there's another interesting caveat. Remember when they were trying to promote the Raven, the new version, refreshed version of the Model S and Model X? Well, they were providing $20,000 worth of ludicrous package for free. Well, now it looks like it's permanent. So essentially what they're trying to do is they're trying to push people into buying pretty much top of the line performance version, right? Because if you're going to spend $80,000, which is the minimum, right, for the stripped down version of Model S, or 85 for a Model X, for only now another 20-25% of that price, which is really not that much, I guess, if you have that kind of money, you get a much better version of the car. So if you were looking to spend that kind of money and maybe go maybe 6 digits, this is great news for you. If you're like me, who normally is very happy with the entry version, you just can't just bring himself down or herself down to spending 6 digits on a car, that's obviously not such a great news. Now, another thing that you probably have noticed is that the white color is now standard. Remember, black color was standard, but now it's white color. Now, here's an interesting thing, because Elon announced it a few weeks back, and he said that, all right, we're just going to make it white. It's going to be similar. It's not going to be pearl white. Oh, that's premium, right? Well, guess what? Premium is the new version, and as a matter of fact, it looks like he tweeted out saying that his staff convinced him to not introduce a simple white version because it will complicate things. Now, they said it's going to be because due to the service repair complexity, but just remember when one of the biggest bottlenecks when the Model 3 ramp up was going on was the paint shop, and they had to go down on paint colors to make sure that cars can go through that faster. So of course, introducing a new color essentially would have made things a little bit more complicated, and by that I mean slower. So I guess it also gives us a little bit of insight of when Elon tweets out, does he talk to his team before or not? And by the way, when he says they convinced him, did they convince him, or did they literally beg him, say, no, are you insane? We can't go any faster and still have an extra color. But it is what it is. I prefer black color. A lot of people like white. So Depending on that, you are getting actually a pretty good deal there. And if you do want it in black, the extra price is $750, which is not $1,000, which were the price for most of the colors. So that's pretty good news. Now let's talk about full self-driving feature, which is this is where a little bit of a drama got on Twitter, and Elon got a little bit of cranky because it's that time of the month. Before that, a quick reminder that this channel and this video is sponsored by Byton. Check out their all-electric SUV coming to the US and Europe called Ambite, starting at only $45,000. That's before the incentives. And it's $0 to reserve one. About 60 seconds of your time. There's a link in the description of this video. So until the line is too huge, go ahead and reserve your Byton today. All right, so let's talk about full self-driving now. Now, Elon said that it's going up by $1,000. And he said, he warned us. He was like, girl, told you, right? I warned you, and this is what's going up. Now, I don't know why in terms of like, is there like a feature that's coming up, or they just need more money? I mean, I get it that they need money, but I don't know if it's kind of on August 16th, I guess when he's saying, is there going to be some sort of a release? Because if there is, then I can see how it's going to be worth a little more. But here's where all hell broke loose, because someone else, and I'm not buying this whole thing about how Teslas are going to be appreciating assets, right? So somebody went back and forth with him. Actually, Elon was pretty engaged with this guy. Even this guy was kind of calling him out. So appreciate that. Now, that guy said, not sure if a joke or just really dumb. There are absolutely no appreciating assets, and saying otherwise, it's a fool's errand. Now, Elon replies saying, if we make all cars with full self-driving package self-driving, yeah, that would be a great idea, Elon. If a full self-driving package would actually be self-driving, that would be swell. As planned, any such Tesla should be worth $100,000 to $200,000 as utility increases from 12 hours per week to 60 hours per week. Well, 60 hours per week, it's almost as much as I work on this channel. So now I take an issue to it with just like a lot of people, because there are quite a few things that don't quite fall into place. So let me do an analogy, and let's take an apple, all right? Well, not that apple. Somebody already bit into that one. This good new apple that you buy in the grocery store. By the way, apples at the grocery store don't change prices as often as Tesla does, but just a side note. All right, so if we take it about an apple, let's say it's 50 cents, right? And I come to you and I say, hey, this 50-cent apple is actually much more. It's an appreciating asset, because if you can just make an apple pie out of this, then it's $10. And you're going to say, Alex, are you insane? You have to have an oven. You have to spend time cooking it. You have to buy dough. You have to have some skill. You might cut your finger or burn your finger, which usually happens to me when I cook. There's a lot of stuff going on. It doesn't just like happen like that overnight. And I agree. So the same thing with your Model 3 or Model S, whatever car you're going to be using. There are quite a few other things. You're essentially going into business, and you're going to have to worry about maintenance, especially if you're saying 60 hours a week. That's a lot of wear and tear on everything. On upholstery, well, I don't know why I even started with upholstery. Let's start with tires. Let's start with pretty much everything else. Even brakes will go further. It does require some maintenance. It does require some cleaning up. And so, you are in business. You have to maintain the car. And on top of that, oh, by the way, I'm also forgetting electricity, right? Because you're going to have to be charging, and that's not free either, right? Whether it's at home or somewhere else. So that's going to be a major expense to run the car for 60 hours a week. And on top of that, a lot of people need their car whenever they need their car. Like right now, I'm going to go to eat my lunch, and my car better be there and not running around doing robotaxi stuff because I needed to go to Chipotle. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get another robotaxi and pay their rate, which makes no sense, right? On top of that, people don't like. It's such a personal thing. I've given this example before. If you have a house, right? Everybody's got a house or an apartment, but very few people rent it out at Airbnb, right? Because they don't want people sleeping in their beds and using their toilets, using their beds as their toilets, all kinds of stuff that happens when you're not there and someone's renting your place, when you go away on a weekend or whatever, right? So most of us don't do it. So why would we do the same thing with our cars? I mean, you know, God knows what happens to those cars when they're doing robotaxing, you know, busing college students back to their dorms after a night out. And then you're going to be putting your kids in the back of that car between the vomit stains and empty, you know, Red Bull bottle. Kids don't like. I asked a lot of kids, and they're like, no, we don't like it. We don't like it, and I understand. So my bigger point is really here, and I probably should switch from the apple pie thing here. The main thing is that I don't think robot taxis are going to be, first of all, as popular because there's only so many people who want to buy them, and then Tesla will be making much smaller run of them, and then where's the money going to be coming from? But at the same time, people would want their little pods, self-driving pods, in their garage rather than, you know, again, students vomit. So this is where I stand. I'm not buying this whole argument, but let's see where it's going. I think the full self-driving feature is going to be up to what, $7,000 at this point, and don't forget it's on top of the $2,000 autopilot option that's kind of already included. So it's kind of a tough sell. So let me know what you think about that. I'm definitely very interested. And we have a new program going on. Don't forget to participate in our Feed a YouTuber program. For just $5 a month, you can provide this YouTuber with food, shelter, digital video equipment for live streaming. You can really change his life. So go to patreon.com/e for electric. And even if not, that's perfect. Maybe you don't have a kind heart. I'm not judging, but there's something still that you can get in the description of this video that's free, and that's our VIP list. We provide the weekly bonus stories. Our writer AJ is providing them, making sure that happens every week. So go to eforoelectric.com/VIP. That's where you can sign up with our newsletter. All right, let me know what you think about, you know, all these changes, or apple pies, whatever, or, you know, empty Red Bull. But happy to hear all of this. So let me hear it. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.